What's up, YouTube? Hobo Nichol BBQ back with you again with the hot seat. Who's in the hot seat? I am. Wait a minute, there's two other guys on here. Who are they?
What's going on, y'all? It's Barlow Barbecue here, and we also have
Mike with Everyday Barbecue. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a little tag team action up here for the hot seat tonight. How y'all doing out there? Chris, what's up? Cheers to you, man.
Cheers, big ears.
RTFO.
All right, so this is going to be disjointed as fuck because we're all in different roles here, so deal with us. But we came up with this cool thing where our channels, because, oh shit, it's been stuck on Mike the entire time. We've all got titles now. It's really cool. We're getting futuristic. All right, I'm handing the torch off to you guys. You are now in charge.
All right, man. Well, first I want to say thanks a lot for asking Mike and I to host this hot seat tonight. It is an honor. So I'm going to say cheers. Cheers to you, Chris, and to all of y'all who've tuned in. I'm running on about 60% energy. I've been sick for the last couple of days, so please forgive the voice. All right. We're going to launch off with our first question for Chris over at Hobo Nichol BBQ. And we're going to start off with, what is your barbecue spirit guide?
All right, you're going to have to define what that means a little bit better. I'm not on the vegan life.
A spirit animal. If you had a spirit animal for your barbecue, what would it be?
We'll go with duck-billed platypus.
Nice, good answer. Yeah. That's a good answer. That's a strong animal. It's a good totem.
Well, I also noticed you have that like pink pig in the background of some of your videos too, don't you, Chris?
Yes, I picked that up at Home Depot last fall, and the paint is already peeling off of it. It's the only one that's not fallen. The chicken falls about once a week.
Okay. So you already have a couple spirit guides going right there with the pig and the chickens.
See, but I think if you had the chicken and the pig make a baby, it would be a duck-billed platypus, to the best of my knowledge.
I think so. I think that's how they're made.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm quite certain. I saw that on Animal Planet the other night, actually.
We got Mrs. Barlow in the house. All right. Chris, where are you from?
Okay, so I live in Canton, Ohio now. I grew up in the northeast Illinois, up by Chicago for up to second grade. Then we hopped the border to Indiana, where I lived there till I was 20. Then I moved to southern Illinois, just Terre Haute, Indiana, jump over the river there into Illinois, you're there. Then Oklahoma, then back to southern Illinois, and then to here. I've been a few places.
Gotcha. Been a few places. Yeah, man. Been around too. What about your family?
I've got 2 kids. Me and Mrs. Hobo, even though I call her that, are not married, and she's got 2 kids also. So I've got 2 boys. She's got a boy and a girl.
Very cool. Mike, how you doing over there? We got Mr. Everyday Barbecue in the house tonight as well.
I'm doing good, man. You want me to take the next question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Chris, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
Oh, geez, I hate this question. So honestly, I just watch channels and I'm like, I can do this. Obviously, clearly I'm not that good as they are, but I thought I was going to be.
I don't know. I don't think you should think poorly about your channel. I see a lot of good stuff coming out of there. And you know what? I want to mention it too. That you do a lot of good in the community, man. So be proud of everything that you've done. I've seen you do some amazing things for a lot of the channels that are part of our group and even some that aren't. So be very proud of what you do, brother. Be very proud of what you do. I appreciate you, and I know Matt does, and I know everybody else watching does too.
Damn right. Drink to that. Thank you, Chris.
Cheers. Green tea on my end, boys.
It's all good. All right. Well, speaking of YouTube channels, if your YouTube channel was a movie, what actor would you have play you?
All right. I'm going to go with
putting you on the spot. Let's see what the chat says too. I'm going to ask the folks in the chat also. Think of if Hobo Nichol BBQ was a movie, who would you choose to play Chris? What actor?
I'm going to go with Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. That's great, man.
That's a perfect answer.
That's perfect. Yep.
So I think that probably exemplifies me, but I probably most of the time tone that down. I think Mike made the comment privately yesterday or the day before that most of my videos at the intro, I look like I want to say something like "fuck you" or something. I don't remember what he said, but
that's what you look like you want to say at the beginning of every video. And so Scott over here in for the girl said that your character or your actor should be Elmer Fudd.
All right, that's
Elmer
scary.
Fudd.
Hang on.
That's great. I think, let's see, we saw, Rayman said Sean Penn. Ooh, all right. Getting a little sexy there. Lewis over at Our Shack Barbecue said Roseanne Barr. All right, let's, Mike, do you want to take another question?
Yeah, all right. So I think we know the answer to this one, but how long ago did you start your channel? I know you started it a while before I think you got active, right?
I think I started in November of 16, but my first video didn't come out till June or July. No, it might have been April. April of 17. And then like there was a 2-month gap between my first and my second video.
Gotcha. And
you said there was, hold on a second, back that up real quick. You said there was a 2-month gap between your first and second video, Chris?
So it's funny. I started this thing to be a barbecue channel. And then I ended up making the first video was a cheesesteak video. I just got my Blackstone griddle. And I made the video, was quasi proud of the video. In hindsight, it's complete garbage. But and then I was like, I just got other crap going on and I just didn't make a second video for a while. And then I'm like, oh, hey, like I should probably keep up on this. And then, you know, slowly started going. I wasn't real consistent. And then, you know, you start meeting people and talking to people and they're like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then you just kind of get into a rhythm. I think that we're all in, you know, I know everybody kind of has their day that, you know, Thursday's the hot seat for me. And then, you know, I've gotten
do you have consistent? Do you have a consistent schedule for your other videos aside from the hot seat?
It's either Tuesday or Saturday is how it works out in general, or it's Sunday night at midnight. I'm like, I just got done editing this. I'll post it now, and those videos never do well.
No. So what do you? Is there a day during the week that a typical day during the week that you film, or is it just kind of when you have time?
So I work Monday through Thursday. We work 6/10s or 4/10, sorry. So I've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. So typically Friday is become go run the restaurant depot, get crap done day. Saturday is film day. And then Sunday, Monday is editing night. But kind of Mondays have changed now because like Sauce Stash has his live chat, and then on Tuesday, Bomb Growins has his live chat. So it's kind of changed. I'm working on trying to bank up some content and be able to be a little more flexible. It's just finding the time to be able to do that.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of channels kind of have their regular set days for, you know, their live streams. We've got Smoking and Grilling with AB. He does Sunday live streams. Sauce Stash Monday nights. Bomb's Grilling is that Tuesday nights. Yeah. Hot Seat Tuesday nights. I mean, dang, you know, the occasional Barlow barbecue on Wednesday nights. But or the failed Sunday stream.
I mean, that's what's weird for the hot seat, at least from my perspective, was it worked out well on Thursdays because Mrs. Hobo's kids like to have what they call a sleepover. So they started, you know, they go up there and sleep in her bed and I sleep on the couch on Thursday nights. So it's like, well, like right now they're in bed. Probably, I don't know if they're watching or not. I hope not. But, you know, it was like, I got nothing to do. This is a good night for this. But then you sit there and go, You know, like I seen Mojo's was on here earlier, and they're going to be on in 2 weeks. But one of the problems they had was the timing of it being on a Thursday and being 9 o'clock Eastern. So, you know, you finish this thing, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and somebody's got to get up at 4 a.m. or whenever Mike has to get up. I can't remember.
Yeah. It's, we got all night here tonight. Got
as long as you and Mike can freestyle and give me pee breaks, I can go forever too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can take pee breaks whenever you need to. I'm going to ask you this question: what cookers do you have? Because I personally, I really dig the little literally the little selection. I mean, you got a big selection, but they're all kind of smaller. They're smaller grills, which you don't see a lot. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm always impressed with the way you use them, and it turns out great. So, what do you have?
All right, I'll start from biggest to smallest. I've got a Humphreys Down East Beast, which is the big green and yellow monster. That thing can feed a small, well, a medium-sized army if I wanted to. Stepping down from that would probably be the Blackstone 36-inch. Then the Weber, what is it called? Performer, the one with the table.
The Performer, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got the 17-inch Blackstone griddle, which the only reason I bought that is I wanted to have a cheesesteak sandwich one night and it was raining. So I stopped at Dick's because it was like $65 and I could use it in the garage. And this 36 inches in the backyard, and it's not easy. Wouldn't not have been easy to get there. But I tell you what, I really like the 17-inch for if it's just me or like me and Mrs. Hobo. It's the perfect size for that.
The 17-inch one sounds great.
What's that?
The 17-inch one sounds great, and that's the one that you have on top of your Performer right now.
It's the one I just converted from the one. Okay, so the 1 pound camping bottles are expensive as crap, and
yeah, you just converted that. Yeah,
you can buy a $20 hose or $15 hose that basically you can hook it onto a 20-pound bottle. The only thing you got to worry about is if you're going to keep it outside and you live in an area with squirrels, what I've read a lot is squirrels like to chew on that hose for whatever reason. So you need to get that armored metal hose, which is $5 or $10 difference. But cookers. So we've got a Weber Smoky Joe, the Weber Go Anywhere, which I got as a 5-year anniversary from my work. Well, it's what I picked out of the catalog. I've got the M Grill C4, which is the little ammo can grill. Big Green Egg Mini Max. And then I've got, I don't remember if I've had it on camera or not, but I've got this little pig that I got at World Market. It's good for the kids to cook hot dogs on because it only
I've seen those
5 briquettes.
Mm-hmm.
Out in the back shed, which I call the laboratory, we've got a Masterbuilt electric smoker. And then I've got the Pizza Q, which anytime I try to Google the thing, I can't ever find it. But basically, I walked into Home Depot one day and it was a $200 gas pizza cooker that has become the popular thing the last year or so. And it was on sale for $50. I'd gone in to buy some charcoal or something and walked out with that.
And that's the Pizza Q?
Yeah, it's Pizza-QUE. It's really hard to find online. Like you don't see like anything on forums or anything like that. I don't know if it's like the bastard baby that nobody wanted and that's why I got it for $50 or what.
How does the Pizza Q work?
I like it. I mean, it's just basically, it looks like the insert that you put in the Weber kettle that I think Big Lou's got maybe to cook pizza on.
Yeah.
Just lifts it up like that. So it looks like that. It's got a pizza stone inside it. Then you just shove the pizza in there for 5 or 7 minutes, whatever it is. Just check the bottom of the crust, make sure it's not burning, and it's good to go. I mean, I like it. It works. The only pain in the ass is it's out in the back shed down the hill. So try carrying a pizza up there with wet leaves or snow or something like that. That's why it's just kind of sat back there for a while.
Yeah. Well, you've made some pizzas on your kettle recently, haven't you?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I don't make my own dough. The guy that actually so it used to be the guy that lived behind me and one door over. It was a treed lot. And the guy leveled the lot, bought the lot, leveled it, and built a house. And just this fall, I finally met the guy. And he's like a hardcore make pizza from scratch guy. So I got to work on this summer befriending him and learning the ins and outs of dough, or getting him to make dough for me and then just give it to me, which would probably be the hobo style way of just get the dough and run.
Right. Get the dough and run. It's Martha often makes pizza from scratch, and she might be able to send a little wisdom your way as well.
But those pizzas you made on the Weber, those turned out fantastic. It was a great video. It was a great video.
Yeah, it was.
Those crusts that I buy from the store, they're already, I don't know, they call them artisanal. I sent Christy the link. I don't know if she can go through the chat or go through me and her Facebook messages and put what it is in the chat. But that brand is just great. They make a square one, like a long square one. They make a full square one. They make a round one. And then they make what is it? Naan bread?
Naan.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I love naan. Oh boy.
Which I'm going to grab some of those and make pizza probably on the Weber Go Anywhere just for funsies.
Oh yeah, dude. Make some naan pizza. That sounds great.
What's going on in the chat?
Yeah, Mike. I think we got Mike kind of watching the chat. I try to pop over when I can.
There's just a bunch of conversation going on there, man. I peek over every so often. I don't think I've seen any questions yet. If I've missed any, then just go ahead and retype them. But I'm keeping an eye on it. Just entertainment for me while you guys are going through this.
Well, Scott wants to know where are the hard hitting questions, right?
Ask away. I told you guys I'm an open book. Yeah. You guys completely control this. Christy says I didn't post it. No.
Okay. I got a hard hitting question for you. This one, Scott. This is for you, man. What is the dumbest thing you ever did that turned out okay?
The dumbest thing. Say that one more time.
The dumbest thing you've ever done that turned out okay.
Yeah.
Like cooking wise, or like just in life?
Whatever. Well, just in life, Chris. It can be however you want to answer it. It's a hard hitting question, man.
Can I get a pass to go to another question so I can think about this a little harder?
Yeah, you can. Why don't
this might be a good time for one of Kent's questions that he sent me.
There you go. That's some hard hitting questions right there.
All right. So, boxers, briefs, or commando, and why?
I'm a boxers guy because I don't like my junk stuffed up.
Well, there you go. That was an easy one.
I haven't worn the tight underbreeches since I was a wee lad.
Do you prefer ribs wet or dry?
So it's funny. If you would ask me this a year ago, I would say wet. But I've gotten to the point now where Mrs. Hobo doesn't like sauce. And instead of making things two ways, I take the lazy route and I go one way. And I've just gotten to the point where, in general, I don't sauce very many things, which has created a backup of sauces over on my sauce drawer.
Okay, I got a question from Booger. I believe she asked, do you salt your food before tasting?
So funny story, Booger. I'm not a big salt person. And at one point in time, my dad, this was probably going back 8 years ago, my dad started getting high blood pressure. So he got a bunch of crap from my mom saying, like, you need to quit putting sugar or putting salt on stuff. And then she called my now ex-wife and said, hey, you need to be careful with what Chris does with salt, because, you know, his dad's got this problem. And my ex-wife said, like, I've never seen Chris put salt on anything. So there's your answer. I'm not a big salt person. You know, obviously making barbecue kind of, you know, I use a lot of commercial rubs, so obviously there's a lot of salt in that, but at the same time it's on a large chunk of meat, so I don't know how that works out.
I think we're getting a consensus in the chat that wants to see the wall.
The what? Oh,
the wall. They want to see the wall.
You mean the Hobo Nichol dungeon wall?
Yeah.
I should put like some kind of creepy message back there, like in red paint that looks like blood. I'm actually considering changing this up a little bit. It's going to probably take me about 2 months to do it, but actually having a real background, I'm going to shift this over a little bit so it's straight on and maybe build something here. I'm just not sure what to do.
Try to get some green screen action going.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just building something and having like, kind of like how Sauce Stash on the right side of his thing has like tools and stuff.
Yep. But
then have like a spot where like it can have whoever's on the hot seat, like their channel name or something like that. Maybe like a wall of everybody that's been on there.
Oh, that'd be cool. Bob Grillins wants to know, what do you dip your chicken nuggets in?
If I'm at McDonald's, it's McDonald's barbecue sauce. That's the greatest stuff of all time. That Szechuan sauce was trash in my opinion, but I'm not a big teriyaki and soy bomb guy, so not bomb, but bomb. I still have two. Oh, if I got them down here. I got too much crap around here, but I've actually got 2 of those packets that I'm going to use as a giveaway because I know some people didn't get to try it, and at some point in time it's going to become collectible, but I'm not going to collect something that I don't like. So
yeah, we got to give a shout out to some folks that were hanging out with us. We got Scott in for the grill and Kent. They are both the mods for this evening's program. Ballistic Barbecue just joined the group. What's up, Greg? We got Booger 500 US, Cooking with CJ, Scott are too cool, Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue, Mojo's Crazy Kitchen, Meathead, Bologna Ring Ranch, Cooking Green Bastard Style. I mean, we got a lot of great people in here tonight. Outdoor Cooking with Al.
We got 33 people watching, man. I don't know that I've ever seen that many people tune in at the same time. Maybe there has been, but I don't remember.
Pretty rad. Christie's Cooking Channel. We got Texas Style Cuisine, Chef Johnny in the house. Man, all y'all, we got the barbecue fam up in here. Looking good, y'all.
So we got a question from Roundhouse Ranch. Chris, have you ever smoked a chimichanga?
No. I'm assuming that has something to do with my Instagram post yesterday. I did get a shout out from El Monterey Chimichanga Company, which kind of surprised me for adding them, which was Mike's idea to add Taco Bell and everybody else.
Why not, man? You might as well go for it. Are they sponsoring the hot seat yet?
We're in negotiations. In negotiations, I mean, at some point in time, I may send them a stupid email and say, hey, here's this great idea. And you could have Flaming Hot Monterey over this wall here for the low monthly price of $9.99.
So where do we leave off, Barlow?
I seen there's been a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm going to be honest with you. The greatest thing about being on this side, I've not really paid attention to try to write them down. So
I can't keep up with the chat. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch. We've got Tango Joe in the house. He says chimichanga does not fit in the bong, and I would agree with that statement.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. So I watched a video today of a guy cutting a brisket at the Apple City Barbecue something or another that Tango Joe did a video. I don't think it was the same year, but he was standing on a balcony with a GoPro on a selfie stick. And it was just weird how YouTube kind of linked those things. But I watched this guy cut a brisket the worst way possible. Like literally hacked off to where he had this little small square in the center.
How did he cut it?
Then he started, well, first he cut off the fat cap. Then he cut that section in just square in half. And then he cut off the the tip of the flat, handed it to somebody and said, "These are burnt. This is a burnt end." At first, I'm watching this and I'm thinking like, this guy's fucking around, you know, trying to be funny, but it was just a dead serious video.
Wow. Well, Chris, who taught you how to cook? Where'd you learn how to cook?
All right. So growing up, I grew up in the, I don't know what you want to call it, the 1950s lifestyle of dad works, mom doesn't. Mom cooks every meal. Dad doesn't know how the hell to cook to save his life. Will die if left alone for more than 48 hours. So I would say my mom taught me mostly how to cook. Since she's passed, my dad's actually started to take up learning how to cook. He's actually a big Gordon Ramsay fan, strangely enough, which doesn't fit his persona at all. But I guess Gordon Ramsay's got like a basic cooking thing on YouTube, so he's been following that. Barbecue wise, I just kind of jumped into that in probably 2010-ish, maybe. I had a Brinkman, whatever them little crappy bullets. I don't want to say crappy because I'll offend somebody, but you guys know me well enough now. I've offended most everybody that's in the chat at some point or another. But it was one of those cheapo $50, see if you like it type deal. So
was it charcoal grill?
Yeah, it was like a Weber Smoky Mountain, but like the ghetto version. I've actually still got it behind my shed. It's one of those things that you get. I've got that and another charcoal grill that I brought when I moved here that basically sat outside and rusted to death. And what the hell do you do with them at that point? So
yeah, I started off with a they're like, I call it like a suitcase charcoal grill, like where it's on some legs, but it opens up this way.
Right.
That it's just like maybe it's $25-$30. I think Weber makes a model like that too. That's what I learned on. Let's see, Mike, what do you got going on over there?
I got a couple questions from chat. Got Outdoor Cooking with Al wants to know, what are you planning for your next cook? What are you cooking?
Sorry, I had to top off the beverage, which I seen somebody asked. Was that like a second part of Al's question about what do you drink when you're cooking?
He's got, what are you cooking in your next cooking video, and what will you drink while you're cooking?
Okay, I thought I'd seen.
And then I got one from Christy after that.
All right, so next video. So I went to I stop at the grocery store on the way home from work every day. Grab the 2-liter pop. Strip steaks are on sale right now. They're normally $12.99 a pound. They're on sale for $6.99 a pound, and they're in 3 packs. That each steak is well over a pound. They're about an inch and some change thick, so it's probably going to be the Hobo style. How do I word this? There's going to be a part where it gets cooked at a lower temperature, and then there's going to be a part where it gets cooked on the griddle at a high temperature, and that's going to be it.
All right. So I got another one that popped up that I wrote down, but this one's from Christy. What was your favorite video collaboration and why?
Probably the poutine challenge. That question was besides hers, right?
That was something that Kent reiterated from her. I must have missed that.
Okay. I think her question was, what was the best one besides the one me and her did, which was strange because I actually got a comment, I think it was last night, of a guy or gal, I'm not sure, that said, I don't know how I'm just coming across this. And in my head, I'm going, I don't know how this would randomly show up in your life, because that was like April Fool's Day last year, if I remember right. But it was probably the poutine challenge, just because there was, 12 of us? And, there was a lot of background stuff going on. Barlow, I don't know what you guys did on your side, but we had the poutine group Facebook chat, but we also had the American team Facebook chat.
Oh, you guys had the sneak. I didn't know about that. No, I see. Yeah, I've got a good question from Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue. What's the crappiest thing you've ever cooked that you lied and said was delicious on a video? If that's happened.
crappiest. See, it wasn't that bad, but the cookies that I did on the Weber, I think I made 4 cookies. 3 of them turned out great. The one that I took the bite of on camera was a little bit scorched on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things that if I would have just looked at the cookies when I took them off the pizza stone, it would have been clear as day. But I don't know how you guys are, but like I get wrapped up in so I do everything. It's me. There's nobody camera paying attention. So it's just like, okay, got to do this, got to move the camera, got to do this, blah, 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 blah. That's why a lot of my shit's like fucking erratic as hell because, it is what it is. I got to work on things.
Work on things. What?
I'm actually going to get a couple more cameras here probably next weekend. So that'll make it easier. I'm not having to move stuff.
Well, that's a great segue. What equipment do you use to record your videos with? And then what are you getting next week?
I don't know what the whole thing is. It's a Canon XV80 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Mike can pull it up. I sent him a link a while ago when he was looking at cameras, but it's probably a long shot that he'll ever find that.
That's a long ways back, brother.
Hang on. It's literally 4 feet away from me. Maybe. All right. It's a Canon Vixia HF R800.
Okay.
It's the one that took the fall.
Yeah.
And then I've got another, I don't know what brand it is. Sony. It's a piece of crap that just decided to quit recording as of the last 2 videos ago. Like it looks like it's recording. It starts recording and then it just goes undone. So that used to be camera 2. And then this GoPro Hero 5 was camera 3. It's just gotten promoted to camera 2.
Right. What are you getting? You're getting some new cameras. You might be getting some new ones soon.
I got to get a new webcam because I don't know why, but this thing will not film in anything other than, I don't know, 180p it looks like on screen, and the focus is all screwed up. So I'll end up getting a new webcam. I'm trying to figure out what to get because this is a Logitech and I'm not real proud of it. So I'm kind of on the fence of getting another one from the reviews I've read. And I'm probably going to pick up 2 more of the same Canon that I have just because they're like $300. And like when they came out 2 years ago, whenever it was, CNET basically said like, it's like on the lower tier of the expensive, it's the very bottom, but could be in the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the best bang for your buck type thing. I'm never going to be, I'm probably going to look at it this way. If I can buy 3 cameras for $1,000 that put out 1080p versus 1 camera that the step is, if it's 2 times better, but I got to move it, to me, I'm going to take the lazy route and go, okay, headshot, food shot, side shot.
Yeah.
Use the GoPro for the over top shot or whatever.
Yeah.
Not have to move anything. I just got to figure out sound next because the lapel mic works good, but it's going to be syncing up the different cameras, which there's probably an easier way to do it than the way I edit.
And what do you use that with?
The fuck is it? You'd think I'd know this. What did Ballistic Barbecue? Ballistic Barbecue says, keep drinking, Chris. He'll be back. Cyberlink Power Director 15.
Okay. Yeah, Greg said he was going to go eat dinner. I'd like to welcome Robert Roy to the hot seat tonight. He just joined the chat.
The bad thing is this is only drink 2, and they're not strong.
Oh, they're not strong. What are you doing?
I'm trying to be an upstanding citizen.
Oh, why bother to do that? Come on, man. This is the hot seat. They want to see us get rowdy in here tonight, man. They want to see us get rowdy. You know. Mike, how you doing over there, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've got a couple more things here that were sent to me privately. So this is a good one, which I don't think we've talked about yet. But Chris, how did you come up with the idea of the hot seat?
I don't know that I know the answer to that. I mean, I don't think there was A happened, B happened, which triggered C through whatever. I think it was more of I posted that on the Facebook group the other day. I think I had like 178 subscribers, and I think Barlow had, I can't remember. But in my head, it was one of those things that the YouTube group had just kind of, it'd been around for a couple months, and there was a lot of new channels coming in, and going from 0 to $1.50 subscribers is a fucking grind. And
yeah,
you feel like you can't, like, I just put out this great, like, you could put out whatever you think is the greatest movie of all time. I'm going to go with Blues Brothers, but you could put the Blues Brothers movie on YouTube and call it Steve's Great Adventure, and it's going to bomb if it's the first video that the guy puts out, most likely. So what I've seen, because I've gone through 2 channels now, is your first video does relatively well. And I think that's YouTube algorithm going, we've got nothing to base this on. So if he gets 10 views out of it, that's 10 views more than he ever had. So in its head, it goes, well, we'll push it a little bit. But then your second video, to an extent, gets matched up to your first video. And if it doesn't get that same push, it just kind of flatlines. So I was trying to figure out a way to help people get past that hump, where they're not, pissed off at the world and, this is a waste of time type thing. And I'm like, I've got 150 subscribers. If I could help the guy that's just starting, that'd be great. And I think it was just one of those, I can't remember how we decided to do it, but it was just one of those, hey, does anybody want to do this? I can't remember specifically how that worked out. I don't know if you remember, Barlow.
Say it again. Remember what? I was looking at the chat.
I don't remember how I approached you, whether it was something that I posted in the group or if it was a, hey, Barlow, you want to do this like private message?
Yeah, I think it was that one, Chris. So you got in touch with me privately, I believe. I can't remember, man. Honestly, this must have been like what, middle or like late summer last year, or was it in the
September
fall?
20th, I think.
September. Okay. Yeah. Man, I think we were just like maybe getting close to 500 subscribers. We were like 300, 400, something like that.
I mean, what was weird with it is, we went from you to Big Lou, which you guys were both close in time. I wish I had that piece of paper in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I literally wrote everything out because Marion asked me to update the playlist on my playlist thing and put them in reverse order so that whoever's the newest is at top. And, it's one of those things that you start going through there and it's like, wow, we've done this 23 times. Like in my head, it feels like it's 100. But it's only 23. Mike's sitting over there like going, oh, Michael Jordan, he's cheesing really hard. He's holding it in well enough.
Now I'm just going over these comments that are coming into the chat, man. I mean, people are just
great.
Praising you for starting this hot seat. I mean, people love that you did it. And I mean, I think, I've told you many times privately and publicly what I think about it. I think it's awesome. And it's great that you follow it up with so much other stuff that you do for channels. I mean, I see people going live all the time, and I see you jump into those chats, and I see you invite people in to try to help those channels get viewers and watch time. And, who does that, so I think it's really awesome of you to do stuff like that. And, the hot seat was just the start of it.
I mean, the thing that I've learned from having the hot seat is you get to a certain point where, okay, I plan terribly. You guys have seen that in every video I've ever made. Most of it's freestyle. So you got your plan, which, you know, most people can work out a 10 to 20 minute plan. This is what we're going to do. And then you go, well, I could freestyle another 10 minutes. But then you get to the point where you're going, I'm fucked. I have nothing more to say. And that what I thought was 30 minutes is now turned into 15 minutes because I got nervous and I started talking really quick and I went through everything just like that. And that's where you depend on the chat. Well, the thing is, like, you know, when these things first started, you know, you had guys like Johnny and Ori. They can talk forever. Johnny likes to say that I didn't let him talk at all. But if anybody watched it, besides me going, holy shit, you just killed a scorpion, let's talk about that as opposed to you going, kill the scorpion. What's the next question? You know.
Hey, Chef Johnny knows how to hold court. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, you can't shut him up.
Nope. Can't shut up, Chef Johnny.
I mean, the thing is that you get to a point where you run out of content, and that's where I see where guys, you can tell they don't want to end it. So it's like a lot of guys don't have the people in the chat that are giving them opportunities to talk. They're, you know, you got people in the, I'll use the hot seat right now. I've not been paying attention to the chat as much because it's kind of been like this nice, relaxing, don't have to watch it. Mike's over there about to fucking pull his hat off and fucking kill somebody probably because he got tasked with watching that mostly. But there's what I say bullshit, which is what I like, is the people going back and forth and busting each other's balls and stuff. But then you've got the people asking a question. But the problem is it's hard to see where those questions are. And at the same time, if you're talking about something in the early part, you got to try to write that down or remember it. It's like right now, I'm supposed to be thinking about a question you asked me a minute ago, and I cannot remember for the life of me what that thing is.
Yeah, I can't either, but we're just doing this Joe Rogan style, man. You know, we're just kind of going wherever the rabbit hole leads. And I do want to say for the record that we do love you, Chef Johnny. He said, thank you, Martha, for your remark. So, you know we love you, Chef Johnny.
But I mean, at the end of the day, this is what I love about doing the hot seat. One, it helps people. Two, which I didn't hit on a second ago. So we started this thing and we went from 300 subscribers to guys with, I'm going to guess Chef Johnny at the time was at 5,000 subscribers-ish. And you're sitting there, or I'm sitting there going, I've got 173 subscribers. And Big Lou's messaging me going, hey, this guy named Ori wants you to have him on the show. And I don't remember how many he had at the time, but I'm like, why? I'm a pissant. Why the fuck does anybody want to be on here? And I don't know why they decided to. Maybe they thought, hey, this guy's trying to help people out. I don't know what it was. All I know is I appreciate the living crap out of them doing that. And then you got to the point where you got Johnny. And then I get this message. I thought of this, what I thought was a cool concept. Hey, I don't know a lot about search engine optimization, but I know there's guys that are watching this thing, this hot seat thing right now. You've got Ballistic Barbecue, Mother's Barbecue, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll try to get all those guys in a room and do like a panel thing. And actually it was Greg who said, I'm not telling you what to do. This is your show, but that's going to suck and nobody's going to want to watch it because you're only catering to people that have a YouTube channel. But what I will do is come on and let you interview me. He didn't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing. He was actually much more humble. Anybody that knows Greg knows that Greg's a fucking fantastic guy. And Chris was the same way. He's like, hey, yeah, I'll do that too. So, and then I'm sitting there going, wow, I've got a guy with, I don't know what Chris has, fucking 20, 30,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers. I'm going, I don't even know how to deal with this. And then I've got, you know, a guy with basically 200,000 subscribers. And I'm sitting there going, I must be doing something right, but I don't get it. I don't, what is the value in him showing up?
Right. Well, it was just it's like Keith Batag just said, it's like a family reunion every week at the hot seat. And I think he nailed it.
And I mean, I honestly think that the bigger channels see the trickle down economics of it, for lack of better words, not getting political, but you know, they're paying it forward to an extent. You know, basically they help me, I help the next guy, everybody, you know, we're all climbing the ladder.
I'd have to agree with you, man. I mean, I think I've gotten some help from some big channels, and you know, I'm just gonna say Greg is one that I'm forming a friendship with, and he's just such a good human being. I mean, and I think you'll find that with a lot of these, and there's more. I could name more, but you know, they want to help us to grow. You know, there's not a lot for, you know, when you look at it. I mean, they're not. I mean, I don't want to say they're on top of the mountain, because everybody always wants to grow more, but you know, they remember that struggle, the same one that you talked about, the same one I went through, trying to get to that 100 subs and you know, 1,000 views or 10,000 views, whatever it was. And they do a lot to help us. But you know, you have this has been a humongous platform. I mean, look at, you know, I just think about like when Kent was on here, and I mean, when he started the show with like 20 subs and ended with 50 or something like that. I mean, that was pretty crazy. Roundhouse Ranch, you added a bunch of subs to his channel, and you know, that's where the support comes from at first, is from other channels. And so you've brought people together to be able to support one another, and in essence, you've made that battle a lot easier for them. So hats off to you, man. I appreciate it, and I know I'm speaking for everybody in that chat room right now.
Hey, real quick, Chris, it says Chris Jarkow. J-A-R.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce that name. I was just gonna ask his question.
I don't know if that's a play on the wrestler / musician Chris Jericho or not. But anyways, Chris Jericho down in the bottom. But one thing he said, I'm actually working on a video right now that'll probably be out in a couple weeks. He said he's looking at buying a Blackstone griddle, and which size should, you know, he buy. I literally am working on that. I have a 36-inch. I have a buddy who's got a 28-inch that I'm going to go over to his house and just literally put hands on it. And I've got the 17-inch and the other options, the Home Shopping Network 22, I believe, which I've looked at and researched. I feel like I can probably make a fair guess as to what I think anybody would need. But Chris, let me know how many, you know, is it you? Is there a spouse, kids? You're an idiot like me and like to feed the neighborhood when you cook? Just let me know, and I'll try to tie that into the video.
And he said, Chris says that Marco is how you say it. So Chris Jarko, right? Is that right?
Or is it literally Chris Marco and J is pronounced with an M?
It could be that too. All right, Chris, here's a classic hot seat question. Who would be on your personal Mount Rushmore?
Real quick, Meathead said that I said that I have a buddy with a 22-inch. Maybe I said that, but what I meant was I have a buddy with a 28-inch. Sorry. Personal Mount Rushmore. All right. I'm going to go with my dad's on there, and these are not in like any specific where the fuck people are at, but so it's funny. I grew up with my dad. I have friends that I grew up with that the only thing they ever heard my dad say was he'd pick up the phone and he'd go, "Hello?" And it was either yes or no. My dad was a very, very quiet guy, never talked, you know, and it wasn't because he didn't like people. It's just he's a really quiet, reserved guy. And then you had my mother, who is the polar opposite of that, who made friends at the grocery store. So my dad worked a lot, and I never understood, you know, I'd wake up on Christmas morning, we'd open presents, the phone would ring, my dad's at worked for the electric company. Never really never registered anything until, you know, I think I had one kid, maybe a second kid, but at the refinery I was working at, we had a turnaround over Thanksgiving. And literally Thanksgiving Day, I was getting paid triple time and a half, working a 12.5-hour shift. And I got some grief from some people that wanted me to come over for Thanksgiving, that it was bullshit that you have to work. And I'm sitting there going, I'm literally making in a week or better what I'm in a day. And that was the point where it dawned on me that, my dad wasn't rich. He was a lineman. He did okay, but my dad worked a lot to try to give us a better life. And, at one point in time, my dad 1 year worked more overtime hours than he did straight time hours. And I've had people go, that's not even possible. I watched it happen.
Wow.
But he would be on there just from that ethic part. My mom, just because she was so outgoing. My parents used to go to Mexico every year, the day after Thanksgiving. And my mother knew they always went to the same hotel. She knew everybody that worked there by name. She would bring stuff to them, the stuff that you and I would take for granted of. It's a Barbie doll. Down there, that Barbie doll is a big deal. A pair of what we would consider, cheap sneakers. I'm not talking about Air Jordans. I'm talking about just something basic, is either hard for them to get or expensive. My mom would pack a suitcase full of stuff. And anyways, when she passed, the next year we went down there to put her ashes on the beach. And it was me, my aunt, and some other people that were family friends. We all went down there, and I turned and looked, and there was like 20 people from the hotel standing there weeping. And it got me like all fucked up. I was crying and stuff, which I'm not a big fan of doing, but I'm like, these people saw my mother a week, a year, and she had that much of an impact that, this wasn't people showed up and just started fake crying. It's like they're sobbing. And it was just really crazy. All I can say. It's going to be hard to go with 3 and 4 after that's part of the story. I'm going to go with Michael Jordan, not because Mike's on here, but like that was a lot of growing up. Like that whole era of them winning championships was right when I was, in high school. And that was crazy.
Yeah.
Just seeing the thing. I never got to see the man. I've never seen a professional basketball game. But watching that, man, the stuff that I saw and the things that I remember, sitting at my neighbor Jason Roscoe's house when they won the first championship, and like it was just nuts. Hearing Rodman drop an F-bomb on live TV during the parade while I was watching it live, because there was no censor thing, and I'm just like, holy shit, Rodman just said fuck on TV. That's crazy. 4. I feel like I have to throw something cooking related in here. I will go with Elton Brown, because the man, I never met him. He may be a complete dumbass. It may be all producers, but I think the man's fairly intelligent. And I think I've seen every episode. I own 3 of his books. I'm not sure if there was a 4th Good Eats or not. If there is, feel free to mail it to me. Just kidding. But the way that he can explain things and dumb it down like he's doing it with, for a 5-year-old with crayons, and reinforce it to you, just is awesome. And the fact that, like my kids, when they were little, when I was still married, they would sit there and watch it with me. And, I don't know what they retained. What's going on in the chat? Jesus Christ.
I'm dying over here.
Because Mike's lost his shit over there.
Mike's watching the chat. I'm not in the chat right now. I'm enveloped in your stories, Chris.
All right, so that's Elton Brown's going to be my 4th. That was 4, right?
Yeah, that was 4, man. I believe so. Scott,
the question I'm supposed to remember was, like, I feel like I should focus some more on that.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I think that I don't. We were talking about what you were using to record your video, and then I think I asked what cameras you're going to get. Like you had mentioned you're going to get some new cameras soon. That might have been it.
Second question of the day. I just don't remember what it was.
Man.
Well, by the way, for not that anybody at this point gives a crap, but the chat is not going to show up after the show like the new feature is, because I know you guys too well. I don't care what shows up for me. I'm more worried about my buddy Jeff, aka Baloney Ring Ranch, waking up in the morning going, "Oh shit, that's on the thing." I know he doesn't care. I'm just picking on him because he can take it.
Well, Scott from over In for the Grill, Scott, my man, he's got a great question. He wants to know what your picks are for the hot seat. Who would you like to see on the hot seat?
I think I've made this somewhat public. We don't have a lot of females on here. Now, we're going to have I say half a female because it's going to be Mojo's Kitchen as a wife and husband thing. I think she's the brains and he's the funny. Or as I've been told before, she's the cook and he's the entertainment part of it. I love their channel. They actually don't live too far from me. If I can maybe con them into some kind of collaboration, like that would be amazing. But I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to, not lose my shit watching him go off. But when I say not far, I mean like 4 or 5 hours, not far. Understanding that I've driven a lot in my life. So,
Chris, Mike, what do you got going on over there in the chat? What's happening?
That's where I got lost.
Just craziness, man. I wrote down a couple questions, so I'm going to stick to the questions. But River City wants to know.
Hang on, I didn't finish the answer.
What's that?
I didn't finish the answer to the question. I got sidetracked with the Mojo.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nailed it right on the head there. Booger and Christy's cooking channel. We need to get some more females on here. You can't now, but Christy, you don't get away that easy. I will show up to Georgia, drive up that long ass driveway. I ain't walking it like you did. And I'll grab the UPS package and I'll bring it up to your house, and then we can, rock, paper, scissors and make a video. Do the hot seat if I have to.
Oh.
And honestly, I just want to get, some younger channels on there. That it's fun. And last person I'm going to say is Bomb Grillins. And I'm going with people that I've not already reached out and talked to a full extent, like privately. All right, I'm done yapping, and I'm not scrolling up through the chat no more.
All right, I've got a confirmation, for the record from Chris Jarko. That's how you pronounce it, Jarko. Thank you, Chris.
Chris, how many people you got that you're typically cook for? If you typed it in there, I can't. I'm going to literally.
I think he said 3 to 6. I think I saw him say 3 to 6.
Yeah, and let's definitely get some ladies up in the hot seat. I think that's a great idea. And there's a lot of women who cook out there, and it would be awesome. We got, the obvious first one comes to my mind, Christy's cooking channel. Christy, got to get on the hot seat.
Johnny, if you can get me some kind of segue to get a hold of Crouch Ranch, I would entertain that. Having them on. I think they would be fun. I know why you want them on. It has nothing to do with the Mr. Crouch.
Meathead wants to know, what is your least favorite piece of equipment?
Cooking wise? Or filming wise?
Did not specify.
Be a great time. They just got banned from live. Scott, they did get banned from live for 3 months, but then it got overturned. Unless it just re-happened again. If you're talking about over the pig slaughter video. Yes. Cooker wise, least favorite, probably the Masterbuilt electric smoker.
Yeah, Meathead just did say that it was cooking specifically.
Now you got to understand something. When I say least favorite, I mean, I could argue a lot of things, because you could sit there and go, well, the M4s or the M-Grill C4 is only literally a grill, or the Pig is only literally a little shitty grill, but the entertainment value from the kids could be there. But from things that can do multiple things, it would probably be the electric smoker. But then you could argue that, it's shitty outside. You don't want to stand out there. Like, there's not a lot of people making cooking, smoking 6-8 hour videos in the snow. That thing's great. It's in the shed. I can plug it in and go. Bourbon. Barlow's getting some bourbon.
BRB. Be right back.
All right, Mike, it's on you. Obviously.
All right. So River City wants to know if you have any plans for future cookers, and if so, what are they?
So it's funny. I went to Home Depot and Johnny Texas Style Cuisine gave me shit about this, but Weber Go Anywhere, the little gas ones were on sale for, I don't remember what I posted, like $24 or normally like $50, $60. And I didn't buy it. And Al, like a couple weeks earlier, there was another, I think it was a Masterbuilt propane smoker, was on sale for like, it was one of those things where it's like, I feel stupid not buying this because it's so cheap type things. But then I'm like, what am I going to do with it? Where am I going to keep it? And it's like, I just didn't buy it. So now I'm like, if I'm going to buy something new, what do I got to try to put some value on what do I need. And I don't know that it's hard for me to need something. I think I've proven that already. Like I prefer kind of maneuvering things. Lewis at our ranch, our Shack barbecue asks why I don't film in the backyard. Because my neighbor has this yappy ass fucking dog that they keep on a screened in enclosed porch that every time I walk out the back door, it never stops barking. So that's why I moved to the front yard. Literally, they moved in at the end of last summer, right when I had just kind of gotten some videos going, and walk out the backyard and burp, 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 burp. And I'm like, nope, not doing this. So the driveway became king.
Yeah, I have I have a lot of noises in the backyard too, but I find in the wintertime it's nice because not a lot of people are out there, but it works out. But I like your front yard setup anyway. I mean, you've got a pretty nice little setup there. Plus, you've got the shelter from the garage if you need to get in there.
Yeah, that little overhang is great.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin, favorite overall thing to cook?
So Mrs. Hobo really likes my ribs, and she really likes the pulled pork. Honestly, I like cooking the pulled pork because it's easier. Not that ribs are hard by any means, but pulled pork or pork butts really, really autopilot, for lack of better words, and it turns out really good. I'll go with that.
All right, I like that too. It's a good answer. Typical weeknight or weekday meal at your house?
Oh, that's garbage time there. So weekday for me is Monday through Thursday, so that's 4 days. I can guarantee you that at least one day Mrs. Hobo will make some kind of fried rice, chicken fried rice, whatever, in the Booger Mobile, the air fryer, the DeLonghi air fryer. Usually 2 days a week. It doesn't work out to where they either go to her parents' house for dinner, because I don't get home till like 6:15 by the time it's said and done. So I'm usually left to fend for myself, which becomes my creative creations of like enchiladas, Taco Bell, refried beans in a can, crap like that. It's not real fancy, and it works, but her kids aren't real creative or aren't real big on trying different things. So, I think the boy eats ramen noodles pretty much 8 days a week, if not 9. Emily's a little bit more, open to trying things. Later, Big Lou.
Good night, Big Lou.
Good night, Big Lou. See you later, man.
Ray Mack, what do you keep saying that you're retracting? I like the self-policing, but then I'm wondering what it is you're saying.
I know he didn't like that you had Michael Jordan on your Mount Rushmore for some reason, but I didn't catch why.
Keith Keith wants to know what one food you never had that you always wanted to try.
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo, huh?
So there's a place in Cincinnati called, I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it. Anyways, there's this big grocery store in Cincinnati that I'm going to Google it while we're talking. Hopefully I don't hang up on the chat. But they've got all types. Well, Matt, you remember I was looking for crazy proteins 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And,
yep.
I seen this guy talking about kangaroo meat, and I'm like, that would be awesome to have, but it just didn't work out. Well, that's how I came across this grocery store, and really, it's not going to show up. Jungle Jim's International Market. It's kind of a cool story. The guy started out in like the 70s, and he had a fruit stand like in the parking lot of an old like rundown business, and he just kept, saving his money, making something to the point now he's got like, I don't know how many thousands of square feet. It's like the biggest grocery store in Ohio. It's got a fucking monorail that runs into the front of it and big giraffes and all types of crazy stuff. But they've got, the weird shit like rattlesnake, kangaroo meat, rabbit, whatever you can think of, you can pick it up there. But it's a 3.5-4 hour drive for me.
The website is junglegyms.com.
Yes.
For anybody who's curious out there. I tried to drop the link in the chat, but it won't let you do a web address.
And you can't even type out the words .com. I got hosed on that yesterday, I think in Bob's chat.
Yeah. Yeah. So junglegyms.com.
Their website is actually really good. I think it actually tells you what all types of crazy ass meat you can buy there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty rad. Ooh, cigar tasting at Eastgate. They got Pint Night, Fairfield Liquor Tasting, Knob Creek, and Basil Hayden Bourbon. Let me ask you that. What are you drinking right now? What are you sipping on?
All right, so before I answer that, Mrs. Hobo's favorite bourbon is Basil Hayden.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
Probably a bottle of it somewhere. I'm actually having Ezra Brooks. That's kind of my everyday carry for whatever the terminology would be.
EDC.
It's relatively cheap. I enjoy the taste of it, but Christy said Chris meant to say camel tail, and then Bomb Grillin said have some camel jerky. Bomb, I'm not, but the care package I'm mailing you out for your mystery box on Tuesday, I'm mailing it out tomorrow. Enjoy, brother. But the first thing you need to try is that spotted dick, which for people that don't know, spotted dick is an English bread pudding. Comes in a can. It sounds worse than it is, and I feel like I'm letting Bomb off the hook here, but it's actually not too bad a thing. It's like a little spice cake, but it's really cool because it says spotted dick on the can. I feel like I need to stop looking at the chat. Like I'm so used to doing it, like I'm jumping in. This is your guys' show.
We're the wingmen here. Yeah, we got to watch it. Azrael wants to know what your just how to shoot. Hold on, let me get. Have you ever tried Angel's Envy?
Yes. So long story short, at one point in time, I had over 200 different brands of bourbon here in my bunker, if you will, if you want to use bourbon terminology. I got to the point where I quit keeping things that I can buy in Ohio. So Ohio is a state-run liquor agency. So basically, they decide what you can and can't sell within the state, and all the stores are owned by the state. I was actually talking to the kid that works in the liquor store in my grocery store, and they can't even move a bottle over one spot. Like the liquor guy comes in and says, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. And a couple of months ago, they moved everything. And I walked in there, and there was a new guy working there, and he says, can I help you find something? Maybe give you some suggestions. And I'm like, very few times in my life am I the smart guy in the room. And I'm pretty sure I know more than you, Steve, who's 21 and doesn't probably know a lot about this. But I'm trying to figure out why you've got a Jim Beam product here, another one down at the other end, why you don't have them all together. And that's the day that I learned that the state runs everything. And the guy came in and said, nope, we're moving it all around. Makes no sense. But the Angel's Envy, I had a bottle of that. And, a couple of years ago when my mom passed, I actually opened that up, not being all weird and shit, but kind of had that bottle, and then I've not gotten another one since. I don't know that it did anything, but it's kind of like that's my mom's thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I've had it before. It's good stuff. What are you mixing it? Do you mix it with you got the Ezra, is it Ezra Brooks? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the family size.
There we go. Nice. And what do you mix that with?
I don't mind drinking things straight, but if I'm just hanging out type thing and I'm not trying to understand the taste of it all right, look, I'm going to be real clear. There's people that can nerd the fuck out on bourbon, and I taste a hint of butterscotch and I think it's like licking a leather belt while eating grass clippings. That ain't me. I either like it, I don't like it. I'm not going to get all weird into flavor play. But typically I will mix it with Diet Squirt or Diet Ginger Ale. I had a bartender in 2013 in Louisville, Kentucky, because I was getting bourbon and Diet Coke, and finally looked at me and goes, look, dude, just try it with ginger ale, because then at least you'll be able to taste it. And it was when I was relatively new to drinking bourbon. I just knew, ooh, Jack and Coke, that's where you're at. But Jeff, I've been to Kentucky. I've been on the tour multiple times.
Oh, nice.
I love Kentucky. Actually, I used to drive down there and do the bourbon tour or the bourbon trail just to kind of, if I needed to get out of my own head, driving gives me time to think and put everything away. So it's like, oh, I'll drive a couple hours down to Kentucky. Go do the tour, stay in a hotel room, kind of, I'm not one of those. I had people ask me all the time, like, I can't believe you do these things by yourself. And I'm like, fuck, it's amazing. Nobody's bothering me. I love Mrs. Hobo. But
what's the Kentucky whiskey tour all about?
All right, so you've got two tours actually, and there may be more now, but you've got the main guys, your Jim Beam, your Heaven Hill, Maker's Mark, which is actually owned by Jim Beam, but they've got their own distillery. Blah 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 blah. There's like 6 of them. A Wild Turkey. It's really cool to do, but there is no circuitous route to get to it. Like, you got to go down this 2-lane curvy ass road to get there. And it's not one of those things that you go do in a day. And if you're going to actually take the tour in each distillery, you're not going to probably be able to bang out more than 2. Maybe you could get 3 on a good day done by the time it worked out. But then you got to figure out where you're going to stay, which it's going to, I like staying in Louisville and Frankfurt. They're kind of somewhat central, but there's no like center hub spot that you could stay that, you're going to be able to stay at a somewhat name brand hotel. Understand the last time I went there was like 2 years ago. So maybe Drury Inn opened up something that's perfect and works out, but it's fun to do. You get a little stamp book and you go to each hotel or each distillery and they stamp your thing. And then when you get done, you can actually go down back to Bardstown to I think it's like the city hall, and you can present that and they will actually give you a t-shirt. Last I knew, I've got a t-shirt. I think they might've switched to some kind of like snifter glass or something like that. It says like you completed the tour. And then they have a craft bourbon tour, which came up a couple years ago, but that's so stretched out across the state that I don't know how you would be able to do it. Kent, I can't show Chris's picture, or I can't show Scott's picture because it's still at work. I could probably pull it up on my phone, but then he would probably ban you, which would then create you banning him in the chat since I made you both moderators. And then I don't know. bologna ring ranch would just run rampant in there. So not doing that. Sorry, I seen that out of the corner of my eye. I had to address it.
What was so at the for the tours? Are you able to sample like some of the bourbon at each of the distilleries? Is that part of the thing?
So I've taken the Wild Turkey tour. I've taken the Jim Beam tour twice, and Heaven Hill is kind of different because they have a tour, but then they have like this round room inside there. So you got to understand that the Heaven Hill distillery burned down in the 90s, I want to say. There's actually really great YouTube footage of it. But basically, the distillery burned down, and then the rack houses started burning. And when you take a structure full of bourbon and it burns down, you create these rivers of fire. And I'm saying they're cool because it's cool watching it 10 years later. It probably wasn't cool if you were there. But so right now they've got a visitor center there, but their distillery is not right there. The distillery is fucking leveled, gone. But they've got a room there where you can actually sit down, and they've got a lady or a guy there that teaches you actually how to taste bourbon. You know, all the, you see the guys on TV, they're like, oh yeah, the nose on that, I'm picking up this, and then how to taste it. And if you put a drop of water in there, how it opens it up. There's all this, crazy stuff, crazy in a positive way. It's just not, I'm not the guy that's going to bend over backwards to get what could be 99% to 100%. It's an effort thing, but
a lot of that stuff is really subjective too when it comes to like tasting notes and flavors. And I mean, it could be kind of cool to try to pick some things out, but I'm not really that into it because it's so subjective.
Well, and the thing is it's the same thing with barbecue. I don't know. I'm going to say there's the 1% of people that have the palate that can discern 9 million different flavors, whether it's bourbon or it's barbecue. You're going to have most people that probably fall into it's good, it's garbage. But if I smoke 2 pork butts, one with peach wood and one with apple wood, I would almost be willing to bet you that the 75% of the people in the chat right now would not be able to tell which one was which.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, because I know what the fuck had happened. Kent would go, it's apple, and he'd be right, and he'd go, yeah, I won, but yeah, that was 1 out of 1. You had 2 options.
Yep. Well, let's see. We'll go to another classic hot seat question from Christie's Cooking Channel. What's the best and the worst thing that you've ever cooked?
Best thing, I'm going to give you 2 answers. Best thing, when I was a kid, my mom handed me the recipe for her meatloaf, and I made it. And she looked at me and she said, this is better than when I make it. And I was a kid. I'm like, she's just blowing smoke up my ass. And then like later on in life, I asked her about that, and she's like, no, seriously, it was better than I make it. And what I figured out was she handed me a card with the recipe on it, and that's how I did it. Whereas, measuring spoons, everything. When she did it, it was, my mother was one of those, yep, that's a tablespoon. Yep, that's this. Put it in there, no measuring. So there was not a consistency. But I think if I remember right, this was her mother's recipe, handed down thing. And that, I just did it by the book because you're a kid. You don't know what the fuck a cup looks like. My mother could pour something in there. It probably was 95% right, but it's not 100. As an adult, best thing, I make really good smoked mac and cheese. That's kid friendly. Mrs. Hobo's daughter loves the crap out of it. I haven't made it on camera. Just, it's a long process. I call it my $50 mac and cheese because it's expensive by the time you buy everything, but it's really good.
I would love to see that video, Chris.
It's not actually $50, but it's probably 30 to 40. I don't know. And it's not like some weird like Gruyere cheese or what. I don't know what expensive cheese is. I'm not a hoity-toity guy, but It's just there's a lot of different stuff. Worst thing? Ugh. I'm gonna go. I don't know. Like, I don't typically fail a lot. I don't have a good answer. I'm not a real big vegetable guy, so like I don't know what I'm doing with that.
You can pretty much just do those, like if you grill them like over direct heat, like on your kettle or something like that, or on your Blackstone, they come out pretty good. They're really not complicated. You know, just hit them with some oil and some seasoning and stuff like that, and throw them on the grill.
I'm trying to
what is
the context as to what Kent's comment was, but
yeah, I think I saw that comment too. Let's do this one. This has always been one of my favorite questions of the hot seat. One of my personal favorites. Yeah, I'm curious to know what your answers are going to be. So 3 channels you watch: one big, one small, and one you think should be much bigger than they currently are.
All right, big channel, that's easy. I'm going non-cooking. Casey Neistat. That guy knows how to tell a story. And if you're shitty at telling a story like I am, watch him. I think Barlow, I'm not saying I turned you on to him, but I know at one point in time I brought that up and you asked me, who is he? And I'm like, how does Barlow not know that guy's got like 16 million subscribers?
Yeah, I remember that. No, I haven't heard him. I haven't heard of them before then. But definitely, I mean, I think story is so important, and it's something that I try to be aware of, but I'm not saying that I know how to do it. It's something I like to learn how to do more of, and like could do better in our videos.
Right. There's another guy, I think his name is Peter McKinnon. I just came across his channel, and I'm trying to open up another tab here, and it's not got me signed in. But the guy's Paul McKinnon, Peter McKinnon, he's a filming guy from Canada, from Scott's neck of the woods, and Chris, who will probably be watching later, and any other Canadians. But he's really good.
Now, is this?
What's that?
Which channel is this? Is this the still a big channel, or is this a small channel?
This is still a big channel.
Okay, cool.
But like he breaks it down to like why he's doing stuff. Like he showed this trick where it was, I don't know, it was like the video right after New Year's or right after Christmas. I can't remember. Baum probably knows who I'm talking about, but he shows himself making this coffee in this fancy ass coffee machine, but he's showing himself pouring water into part of it. And it's literally the same GoPro I have, and poured the water down and showed that shot. And he goes, the problem is this GoPro wouldn't fit in. Barlow, you probably know this. It's like a fluted, comes in, like 2 triangles for the water for this coffee or espresso. And he goes, this wouldn't fit down in there. So I just took a round glass container and I set the camera down in the bottom. The shot's only 1.5 seconds long. So people don't go, hey, wait, that's a different bottle. And it looks amazing. And it's little stuff like that no, I'm probably not going to stick this down and pour mustard on it because that'd be trash to try to clean up, but it makes you think outside the box.
Yeah. Thinking outside the box and like being, just adding a little, if you can find ways to, I don't know, just make it part of what you're doing. I think it helps set you apart and it makes it unique for, your channel and what you're doing.
You see Kent's comment? He says, damn, Chris talks more than Johnny. This is fucking hard being on this side. I'm not going to lie. Like when I'm on that side, this hour and 25 minutes is like a snap. This side, I'm like going, this is long. How do I answer this? I don't know what to do here.
Oh man, I'm having a blast. I don't know about you guys. I'm having a good time. But let's keep going on with the question. One channel, you named the big channel. What's the small channel?
DQ'd barbecue. And if I've got that channel wrong, somebody correct me. I know it's DQ'd, but I'm terrible with names. That dude,
you're right.
Baby Back Maniac put it best after his first video. He had a hard time believing it was that guy's first video, but that just his camera presence, everything is just. I sit there with my jaw, all slack jawed, going, "Oh my God, I can't." He could be raking the leaves right now, and I'd be watching. Something about him and what he does. I mean, honestly, that's the thing for. How many times do we need to watch somebody cook ribs? That sounds like a dick thing to say, but in reality, how many times do we need to, nobody's reinventing the wheel in general, but there's an entertainment value to watching somebody cook ribs. And
it's in how you present it to the viewers and how you produce the video that makes it engaging or not, so we got DQ Barbecue, you said, for the small channel. What's one channel that you think should be much bigger than they currently are?
I'm going to have to go with Chris from last week. And I'm going to give you two answers, but the guy knows. Okay, so before he was on the hot seat, and with him being on the hot seat, I got two completely different perspective. Like when you talk to somebody on the phone that you've never met and you go, okay, I kind of think this guy's going to be 6 foot tall and has a beard and this, that, and the other. And then you meet him in real life and he's a little pygmy guy that, weighs 100 pounds. And you go, that's not how I visualized him. Well, when you watch somebody on camera on the show, their channel, everybody has the rules for their channel. I don't give a shit what I do on my videos. I will say whatever I want, and that's what it is. Other people, the smart people, tend to reserve that back in and go, hey, I'm going to be the G-rated guy. And when you see somebody that you sit there and go, wow, this guy's really smart in his videos and stuff, and then you see that some of the things that you guys watched, I'm not going to repeat them. He actually sent me that video of the outtake from what he did, and I watched it, I don't know how many times, and about fucking fell out of my chair. But it's like you have this mental impression of somebody, but at the end of the day, going back to my point, that guy knows what he's talking about and can break it down, explain it to you. And even when we got into the whole electric, wood, propane, charcoal conversation, and there was that hesitancy to, I want to say this, but I'm probably going to shit on a couple people's Wheaties. I think he handled it pretty well. That being said, kind of going in the exact opposite thing, I'm going to throw these three together because they're kind of brothers in arms. And if you guys hate me for saying that, that's fine. But you got Heavy Metal Barbecue, you got Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin, and you got Cookin' Green Bastard Style. They all make great content. And, Ken, Heavy Metal Barbecue, the dude's creative as shit on building stuff. I love Fred and just the stuff that he makes. And then you got Cookin' Green Bastard Style that I enjoy the thing. I get some people aren't going to get it and they're not going to like it. That's cool, whatever. But like the guy cooks good food and I find him entertaining. I get some people won't, but fuck.
And he cooks it outside in the freezing cold with shorts and t-shirt on, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, and he's got a new video about his new boots. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I seen it. It's 1:51 long. Go check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to go check that out.
Hey, Matt?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've ever wanted to ask Mike that's roughly, I don't know, a question that would take about a minute and a half for you to ask and him to answer?
Oh,
Chris
probably.
Has got to pee.
Yeah, Mike. What's I want to learn a little bit more about this. Mike and I were talking about Italian beef sandwiches earlier in our chat group.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little. I want to know about that a little bit more. Is it usually a sandwich, like a kind of like a hoagie style?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically on like a French style bread. There's a bread company out here by us named Toronto, and they make really good bread for Italian beef sandwiches. And I grew up in an area where that was a very common thing, and I've had them from all over, and we make them at home. And you can make it at home, very simple recipe, just with a crock pot and some plain old roast beef from the deli that you can get sliced thin, and a little bit of beef broth and some spices, and you can make that stuff at home, man. I mean, it's fantastic. I couldn't believe when we were talking earlier and you said that you didn't you didn't know what it was. I thought you were kidding.
No. I mean, I'm sure that sounds like such a like a pretty regional thing for where you're at. And I'm over in Pennsylvania, and like for us, it's hoagies and cheesesteaks. But like Italian beef, I've never heard of that. It sounds awesome.
It is, man. It's a great sandwich. I mean, it's basically like our version of the Philly cheesesteak, for Chicago. I mean, Chicago has a lot of different foods, but deep dish pizza, Chicago style hot dogs, beef sandwiches. That's the stuff that you can find almost everywhere around here. Chris knows all about it.
It's funny. I was telling Mrs. Hobo about that last night. I'm like, Barlow, because I was reading the chat off. It was you saying something about putting it on pizza. Barlow going, what's that? And I put, Barlow, we have to unfriend you.
Yep, I remember that.
And she looked at me and she goes, I had never had it till you didn't click. And I'm just like, is this grew up outside of that nobody knows? And I think it almost is.
It sounds really good. I think I'm going to try to make it soon. You guys put cheese on it typically, or no, for the Italian beef?
Yeah, you can put mozzarella cheese on or provolone.
Yeah. Provolone would be good.
Yep.
I can make that. Chris, welcome back.
I'll give you my recipe when you're ready.
Yeah, dude. Well, you sent me one in the chat, but I think I might have to do it again.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I sound like shit. I've been sick for like 3 days. I'm like barely hanging on.
Glad you got to participate tonight, though.
Scott says it's glitching or was glitching. I was saying that on my end. It's over with. I don't know what the deal is. Are we back to normal? I know it's going to take.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're back. I think we're back to normal now.
That's called buffering. It's my best sex move.
Why did you choose the channel name Hobo Nichol BBQ? And is there any background that's actually that is connected to the hobo style?
Okay, so when I first started this thing, it had nothing to do with YouTube. It was just a joking. In order for me to get into Restaurant Depot, I had to have a business account, which I don't have. Well, I found out that you can get into Restaurant Depot with a Kansas City Barbecue Society membership, which costs $50. And by doing that, you can register a name. So I registered Hobo Nichol BBQ. And the way that I got to that point was so I think most everybody knows what a wooden nickel is from back in the day. Well, there was a place in Oklahoma called Wooden Nichol BBQ. And I'm like, well, and the place had like just gone out of business. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's something that's going to start back up. I don't want to take a name of something. So I was trying to figure out how to tie nickel back into the whole thing. And I'm like, well, hobo nickels are what the hobos back in the day used to carve on and try to, it's tramp art. It's really interesting for anybody that doesn't know, but I'm pretty sure everybody in here is older than 25 and knows what the hell I'm talking about. So it's just kind of one of those things that just tied my real last name into the barbecue thing.
That's cool.
And like literally the day at work that I decided that's what it's going to be, that night I signed up on KCBS and did that. And then Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder, MySpace, Plenty of Fish, Ashley Madison, Hobo Nichol BBQ. Most of those aren't true, but all the ones that are real normal stuff are.
Let's see. I think Kent from Heavy Metal Barbecue had a question for you that you wanted me to mention. Do you remember what that was?
No, it's Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin. Wants to know the favorite
That's
music.
Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin.
Fred here? I haven't seen him in the chat,
Yeah.
but I might have missed it.
He is here.
I think he took off. I think he took off about 10 minutes ago.
He's got to get up early in the morning. I know that. Sorry, I missed your question, Fred. But yeah, that's his question is, what's your favorite kind of music?
I literally listen to everything, to the point that Spotify's it's got their weekly discovery. Spotify doesn't know what the hell to give me, because I literally will listen to country music, rap music, rock and roll, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm all over the place. So it's hard to answer that question, because I'm kind of I like a lot of stuff. I even like what is it called? Ride of the Valkyries, when the Bluesmobile is falling down off the skyway on the little island. Dun, 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 that thing. I mean, I really enjoy music. That's part of the whole, Saturday, Sunday out in the garage thing. I've got the Samsung tablet playing different types of music, and I've got what I call my garage list, for lack of better words, which is child-friendly stuff, in case either A, her kids come outside, or B, you guys have seen Ron, who lives across the street from me, and his dog Joey, the older gentleman. He's been on a couple of videos in the background there. Sometimes he'll walk over and, wonder what I'm cooking, because I bring him food at times. Then you got Johnny Redneck and his wife will show up. They don't care what we listen to, but, try to keep it to where my neighbors aren't going, why the hell is he listening to Waka Flocka Flame? And Lonnie Ring Ranch, that guy's a rapper. They'll get that rap music in Kentucky soon. Don't worry about it. They got to get the daylight pumped in, and then we'll get the rap music.
Oh, what do we got here? We got another question. What is something that you think everybody should know how to cook?
Honestly, I have never made a grilled cheese sandwich in my life.
Oh man, you got to do that.
I feel stupid saying that. Like, I understand the concept. I've just never done it. Same thing with eggs. I'm not a big egg person. I've probably cooked 3 eggs in my life. But
yeah, I let Martha handle eggs. I don't know how to do eggs either.
So it's funny. I can buy a box of eggs, like literally a paper box full of eggs, for like $8 or something ridiculous like that. So I had thought about next summer literally taking my Blackstone griddle and just keep cracking and making eggs until I get it right, just for the experience.
That Blackstone will make some good eggs, and if you're ever going to make a grilled cheese, do it on the Blackstone. It's unbelievable.
Bloody Ring Ranch says, Chris, what the fuck? What the fuck on the daylight pumping rap music thing, or what the fuck I never made the grilled cheese and egg? All right, keep pumping them out.
Keep pumping them out. All right, here we go.
I know Martha had some real crazy ass questions.
Yeah, that was one of them. So what's something that you think everybody should cook, though?
I think there's a lot of basic stuff that people... All right, here's my view on society today. We're at the point where everybody's lazy and doesn't learn how to do things, and has a doodad that does it for them, which creates a lot of dying arts. You got kids that they changed that where we're at, but there was like a year or two where they just decided we're going to quit teaching cursive writing. And I was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird. But kind of food is getting that way too now, where you've got, I'm not dissing gadgets, Christy, don't fucking hate me for saying this, but people don't learn how to do things the old school way. And with that, things die. And that's where I'm not a big fan of some of these things, to where, you know, it creates things that, you know, people don't learn how to do. And, you know, I think some of that goes back to, you know, basic food things. We've got a microwave now, and it creates laziness or lack of understanding how to cook things. And, you know, most guys in general are not cooks and don't know how to cook, or don't know how to cook well, because you've got the microwave and it works. I mean, you can cook fucking bacon and eggs, and you can go into Bed Bath and Beyond and get every gadget and doodad to do it in the microwave. But I'm part of the victim crowd of that, for lack of better words, that I don't know how to cook an egg. I've never been forced to, and I don't know how to do it. So if you want to get into, I can't give you a specific thing. It's more of it's the basics of things that, you know, I can cook a pork butt and on a Weber kettle and not have any issues on getting it from A to B. And it's easy because I learned how to use the tool. Same thing with the Weber Go Anywhere. You know, I learned how to, I don't think that thing was designed to smoke on, but it's really easy to smoke on if you understand the dynamics of, you've got fire, you got oxygen, or you've got fuel, oxygen, and an ignition source. That's the keys to a fire. That's all you got to understand. But it takes time to figure out, you know, it takes X number of briquettes on fire to get to here. You know, I sent you guys that comment about, somebody sent me a comment today asking if this Weber kettle could get up to 300 to 350.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was a stupid question. I think it was a lack of understanding that, yes, it can. You just have to understand how much oxygen needs to go in there. And that's why, like in, you know, I did it the kitty way on my kettle, as I marked off on the bottom, this is 25% open, 50, 75% full open. Because if you look at that slider thing, you'd think all the way to the right's wide open, when really it's what, a third to half of the way is actually wide open.
Yeah, I did the same thing with my kettle too, as I made those little marks on there. And I think it also depends on how much charcoal that you start off lighting as well. Like I experiment a lot with, like, you know, if I let me get 10 charcoal briquettes lit, and then from there where like, and then, you know, kind of, you know, there's always variables, but put that on, then add more charcoal, and then get that to about, let's see if that shoots me around 250 degrees. If I close the bottom damper to about quarter to 3/4 of the way open, quarter to halfway open, and then the top vent like open all the way.
I mean, I agree with you, Matt. I mean, and if Azrael's still in here, the guy's smarter than I will ever be. He could die tomorrow, and I could live to be 200, and I will not understand the stuff that he does. But in my head, arguably, if you took a dumpster full of charcoal and put it in the Weber kettle and cinched everything down to less than 25%, you're going to get to a point where it balances out, and you're sitting there at 225 or 250, wherever it's going to settle at. And then some of your charcoal is going to die off. Some of it's going to stay lit, and then eventually it's going to keep relighting itself to the point where it's going to run within that, you know, 25 degrees, if you want to say either way, and go. And Azrael, if you're still on here, make a comment and tell me if I'm an idiot or not, and be honest, because I really want to know if my theory is correct. I think it is. But, you know, I get off on, that's why I have so many different grills and stuff, is I want to learn how to cook on them. It's the challenge of figuring out what to do with it.
Yeah. So you're saying that to get to a certain temperature, like that person in that comment asked, you're saying that it may not depend so much on how much charcoal you start off lighting. So it doesn't.
I think you start off with getting it to. Is he the only one allowed to call you an idiot? No, Christy. Anyone can call me an idiot. I don't care. I'm not going to say it. I love you. I think you get to a point where you have to. You're. And anybody in the chat, make a comment if I'm wrong here. You start off with whatever the ambient temperature is outside.
Yep.
And that's the thing is it may be 20, it may be 100 outside, but when you dump that charcoal in there and get it going, Adrenaline Barbecue, slow and sear. I'm not doing that. Just hear me out. They have rules of you put in X number of coals that will get you into the 225 to 275 range, whatever it is.
Yep.
He figured out that the 22 or the Weber kettle is X number of cubic feet, and it takes this to make this temperature.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to start to get it to there. And then as you set your bottom intake at this, and it will maintain that because eventually those charcoals are touching other charcoals. The charcoal that's lit gets smaller, so it's using less oxygen, igniting the other ones, and the whole process goes through. You just got to figure out where to start at to get where you're at. But
yeah,
I have a very simple viewpoint of whether you're cooking at, I got a guy I work with that loves to cook briskets at like 200 degrees. He'll go down to 190 and do them for like 26 hours.
Jeez.
That's what he likes to do, and that's what he thinks is right. Me, I don't care as long as, I'm a big stay within your lane. I don't know how wide a road is, but, your car is 6 foot wide and the road and your lane is 10 foot wide. Keep it within the line. So I don't care if my temperature is at 225 to 275 or whatever I'm trying to cook at. If it goes up 10 degrees, I'm not the guy that runs over there and goes, oh shit, I got to move this damper an eighth of an inch over. Don't care. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But you're going to find people that'll say, yes, it does. You need to sit there at 225 the whole time because it makes better food. They may be right. I may be wrong. I don't know. All I know is you can put out good food staying within your lane.
Yeah, staying within the lane that you want. And I think maintaining a consistent temperature in that lane over time is what makes the difference. Whether it's 225 or like I personally I love to cook, or like if I'm doing pork, 275, even 300 for a pork butt. Brisket, same thing. I think I did one recently that was like 275.
I mean, my viewpoint on it's real simple. The guy that I'm talking about at work, if you cook a brisket at a lower temperature, your window. Okay, so everything has a when it's done. If you cook at a lower temperature, your window of fucking it up is wider because you're not going to go either below or over in a quick amount of time. But every piece of meat has a different window of, brisket in general is going to get probe tender at, say, 200. But the window of when it's good and when it's bad is smaller than a pork butt, which is much more forgiving. And you can cook that thing 20 degrees either way, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Chicken, people say, and Azrael's the fucking king of this for his video. I cook chicken thighs. You can pull it off at 165 to 185 and probably not going to be that bad.
Oh man, they're not at all. Martha and I just made them over the weekend. It was what we were going to do for our live stream, but we had skinless chicken thighs. And I did those up, man, and they're fucking awesome.
But I mean, I think the key, at least my opinion, which isn't shit, is that you got to understand what you're cooking with, be able to understand the windows of what's going to be successful and work within those. If you're not going to be the guy that's going to sit outside all day, then maybe you need to have a set it and forget it and a little doodad that tweets you that, hey, your shit's ready, you need to come home. The guy that's sitting out there is probably going to be the lid lifter, poker, tender, temperature guy. He's probably going to be more of a stick guy or a charcoal guy, whereas the guy that wants to just throw it in there is going to be a barrel cooker guy, where it's pretty much, it's doing its thing. It's not, getting out of control. Doesn't need to be fed all the time, etc.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done ranting.
Done ranting. Well, it was good, man. It was getting into some deep stuff there.
So Asriel's commented on there. He said that there's some depth to this conversation that would require more than a chat comment, but in theory, you're correct on the minion method.
Yeah, you still have to, even if you don't use something like the slow and sear, and you're going to do something like the minion method or the snake method, I mean, you're still going to start off with a certain amount of charcoal. And would it be like, would you start off with lighting half a charcoal chimney full or a full charcoal chimney and then throwing that on there? But I guess it just depends what you were saying earlier about staying in your lane.
I mean, the other thing is you got to look at it if you've got one cooker, it's easy to understand one cooker.
Yeah.
That being said, a lot of people, there's a bunch of people who turned 25 to 30 in the last year that, for lack of better words, everybody starts somewhere and they just got a kettle, whatever. And they're going to go online. They're going to Google search, how the fuck do I work this thing? And you're going to have an array of people that have a different opinion. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it takes figuring out your cooker, we can get down to altitude, temperature. I live in Ohio. CJ lives in California. CJ's not cooking in the snow and fucking 0-degree weather. And at the same time, I can say, oh, look at me, I'm cooking in the snow. And then Scott's going, ha, 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 you pussies, it's negative 42 centigrade, which is, I don't know what that is in real life. I just know that they use centigrade because it sounds colder. But, it is what it is. But you got to learn how your cooker works and do that. But a lot of people don't want to put the time in. And then when you exponentially grow more cookers, if I cook on my Big Green Egg, it's insulated very well because of the ceramics and stuff. I'm struggling with that. I can't keep it anything under 300. That's something I'm working on this summer, but it's different than the Weber Kettle Performer, versus the Smoky Joe or the Weber Go Anywhere. You just got to learn and tinker and figure it out. Asriel Pit Barbecue says I'm walking on the geek side right now. I'm not walking on the geek side. I'm just bloviating the bloviate, and there's no science behind it other than I'm a school of hard knocks guy that I'm not smart. I've just fucked up enough times to figure out what's right and what's wrong.
I mean, there is there is science with barbecue that you can go as deep as you want with it. But for me, it's barbecue is not about math. It's not about formulas. It's not about, the science. And if you want to get into that, that's cool. But for me, it's just been about learning those basics and just hanging out and just kind of keeping it more on the simple side.
I mean, even the Blackstone. I watched Marion try to do smash burgers twice. I think he failed. And it's just one of those things, unless you see it, learn it, know it, you don't realize. But you've got, I don't know on the 28-inch, but like on the 36-inch, you've got 4 burners that run through equidistant from each other. Well, when you put a patty or a whatever on this one spot, that piece of meat is cold. It's sucking the heat out of the steel. So to flip it back in the same spot you just set it on for 3, 5, however many minutes, you're putting it on a cold spot. If you move it over to a different where the burner is, it's hotter than there. So you'll create a somewhat equal cooking experience on both sides. Whereas if you flip it back there, what was 400 degrees is now 200 degrees or whatever it works out to be. What took you 4 minutes on the first side is arguably going to take you 8 minutes on the other side.
Yeah.
But it's little things that you don't, it's not laid out in the handbook that you need to do this. It's things that you gotta either fail and learn from, or B, find somebody that knows what they're talking about that puts it out there. Now, the problem is figuring out who knows what they're talking about and who's just putting shit out there and is popular, because there's a lot of that goes on too.
Well, we're talking about the process of cooking. What is your favorite part? What do you enjoy more? The process of like a long, like smoke for pulled pork or something like that? Or do you enjoy the eating of it after it's done? Which do you enjoy more?
All right. The comment section is entertaining. That's all I'm going to touch on with that. I don't know about you guys, but if I smoke something, I don't enjoy eating it that night because I've been in the smoke all day.
Yeah.
So not that it's not good. It's just not, it's like, it tastes like smoke and fire and stuff.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the cooking part of it because it's relaxing to me. And it's something that it's kind of like I said earlier with driving it's unplugging the brain. Not that I'm not doing it, but it's like I'm over here not worrying about shit at work or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's fun for me. Funny story. Last summer, we had Mrs. Hobo's parents come over and a couple other people. I can't remember who it was. And I was sitting in the garage and I had set the backyard up for people to go hang out and do their thing. And her mom come out to the garage and was sitting next to me. And she's like, I didn't want you to be out here all alone. And I'm like, I kind of like that being all alone. I didn't say it, but it was like, and I don't mind her company, but it's like, this is my Zen spot. Like, I'm good here. You know what I mean?
So are you a more of a kind of French exit kind of guy?
I don't catch that reference.
Oh, French exit is, say you're at like a party or like some kind of gathering of people, and when it comes time for you to go, do you go around and say goodnight, goodbye to everybody, or the French exit is where you just leave and you don't say goodbye to anybody, you just leave?
It depends on the situation. If I know everybody there, like if it's a family thing, I feel obligated to, do the rounds. If I showed up at the Barlow Ranch and say I'm staying at a hotel and you happen to be having a party that weekend and we were collaborating, I would probably be like, hey, Matt, Martha, I got to bounce. And then I would dip out and nobody would know. And then 10 minutes later, everybody go, hey, where's that fucking idiot Hobo at? And then you'd be stuck holding the bag going, oh, yeah, he left. He's a dick.
He left. Yeah. Well, that's the French exit. Hey, Mike, how's it going over there, dude?
Good, man. I'm just keeping my microphone muted because for some reason, anytime I don't, it's got me on the screen all the time instead of you guys while you're talking. So, but good. I think we've gone through almost all the questions. Do you have anything left? We asked Christy's question. Here's one that I don't think we asked yet. If we did, let me know. Chris, funniest thing that's happened while you were recording that we never saw after editing. And I know you leave a lot of that stuff in, like the camera drop when I told you hurt my head or whatever. So I don't know. Was there anything that you can remember editing out that was just hilarious when you were filming?
So it's funny because I thought about this. This is the question that I thought about that I would struggle with the most because of leaving stuff in. And then I started doing the outtakes, I don't know, 6 months ago, roughly. There's probably stuff that in the first couple months of making videos that I edited out that I literally have to go back through the footage, but there's nothing that jumps out, you know what I mean, that I've not included. There's no like, oh my God, this type thing. Because I thought it was kind of fun just to, they don't get a lot of views, but the people that do watch it seem like they really enjoy watching me fail. And I feel like that's entertaining because, you know, I like watching people that, you know, Stone Mountain Barbecue had a video I came across today that, you know, in the title it was, and I can't remember what it was now, it was, "This is what I made, fail." And I remember watching the video, but it's like, there's a lot of knowledge that you can pick up from that, you know, I don't want to watch fucking Mike sitting there, "Oh, yeah, here I am. Here's what I'm cooking. Here's my beautiful daughter who looks like Mrs. Hobo's daughter. And I made these, and I did all this." That's fun. That's great. I enjoy watching it. But I really want to watch Mike fuck shit up and it be a complete train wreck. It's like driving by an accident going, "Ugh, that's just bad."
That
Everybody
almost
wants to
happened
watch
this
somebody
weekend.
fail. What's that?
I said that almost happened this weekend.
But the thing is that I think us as people who make videos feel like I don't want to look stupid. But at the same time, do you want to watch a guy who, we all know there's one guy in every person's life that everything goes their way. And I'm using a male thing here, their parents were rich, they went to a great college, they married a trophy, hot, beautiful, fucking supermodel wife. They shit fucking $100 bills. Nothing goes wrong for them. I'm not saying you want to see something terrible happen to them, but you just like to see that I've been humbled just a hair because something I did failed. Like they become a human being again. And that's where I think like a lot of things are like, okay, anybody can get on YouTube and be anybody they want to be. It's like moving to a new town. I could walk in somewhere and go, "Yeah, my name's Chris Nichol, but everybody calls me Jim Bob." That's what everybody's called me from growing up. And everybody new in their life is going to be like, "All right," everybody calls him Jim Bob. "Hey, Jim Bob." Same thing. I know Mike was about to say something.
I was just going to say I was talking to another YouTuber last weekend, and he was kind of telling me, and he's really good. He was kind of telling me that every video is sort of like a story. And I think that's why those other videos do well, because there's a story, you know, and there's not always a happy ending. Or sometimes there's some drama in the middle, even with a cooking video, you know, something goes wrong, strange things happen. I had that happen last weekend, and you'll see that video will be out next Friday. But it was almost a disaster, and it turned out good. But point being that it's, you know, there's always a story involved in a video, and so people are kind of absorbed in that thought too, not just everything being perfect all the time, because that's not reality. I mean, we've all made things or had cooks that didn't go well, whether it be equipment malfunction or something just didn't taste right, or who knows what. So I think we can all relate to that.
I've got a question from an anonymous source.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is the one I got hit with twice already, and I've just been waiting for a good segue. So
you guys go right ahead. Message to do this shit or what?
Yeah. Who is your male cooking crush, famous or not?
My what?
Your male cooking crush, famous or not?
All right, I will answer that question, but I before I forget this, remember I told you that El Monterey responded back to my Insta face thing?
Yeah.
Rotel Tomatoes did the same thing just now.
Oh, Rotel. That would be an awesome connection right there.
So for anybody watching the hot seat, go buy you some Rotel. They're not paying me to say this yet. No, I'm kidding. Male crush? I don't.
Male cooking crush.
I gotta go AB, Elton Brown. Or BA is fucking Sinister Twin. I mean, I don't know. I used
BA. I thought you were going BA Baracus on there for me.
I used to like Guy Fieri. not that I don't like him, and I'm talking about when he had the cooking show, not the diners, drive-ins, and dives type stuff, or I used to really like the grocery games thing too, but the cooking show that he had, and I don't think it's still on, maybe it is, it got to the point where it was not entertaining for me. I'm not a big, hey guys, and I'm using all these acronyms like the fucking EVOO. That's why I don't like the fucking, what's her name? Shit, because we don't need to have like, hey, we're on Triple D and we're using EVOO and SNS, Weber attachment, whatever the fuck. Like, speak English to me. Like, don't dumb down society. S&P sounds cute and shit, but it's not fun anymore. I don't know. Was that a good answer?
That was a good answer. Yeah, that worked. Mike, did you have some more questions from an anonymous individual?
Yeah, I have a couple more here, which I think some of them have already been asked and answered actually in other answers. But what do you consider your greatest accomplishment?
Yeah. All right, so just being honest, I kind of had a heads up on this question, and I still don't have a good answer. In life, understand that I graduated high school by 1/10 of a percentage point. Not because I'm stupid, because I was lazy. That being said, I've done a lot of moving in life to better myself, which I find a lot of people have a hard time doing. And when I lived in a small town in Southern Illinois, the best job that you could have there was either working at the oil refinery. The next best thing was working at a Hershey chocolate factory. And besides that, if you're not one of the 3 or 4 doctors or lawyers, it was working at Super Walmart. And I always used to joke that you could tell people, hey, I'll move you to Asheville, North Carolina and pay you $100,000 a year. And people would say, fuck you, why would I do that? And, you got to learn how to, do what's best for your family. And I think that's something that you kind of grow up with. And, I did a lot of moving and I never got anything from my family, parents, etc. It was like, hey, I really, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to move far away. It was, hey, you're bettering your life and, go with that. So for and I probably got a lot of that from my dad, just from his work ethic, but, at the same time, I don't want to put like work in front of life. Like I don't have like I did this or I did that type thing. I mean, it's kind of like the YouTube thing. I never thought I'd be at, I don't know where I'm at now. It was 680 last I looked, or 690. I don't know. It's like, it's challenge yourself. Like, do things that push you to, to be, I don't want to say better in life because that's not the right answer, but it's like get out of your comfort zone and go do something. And that's, I don't know, that's probably a shitty answer. I don't have like I did this and yay me. And I know Barlow and Mike both know this, but like I told them, like I don't like the hardest thing for me to do in life is take compliments because I'm not good at it. I don't know what to say. I'm not doing things for it. I'm like, I just do things I think is right. And granted, I fuck some things up, and I know I've done that before. I don't have a thing. I feel like that was a terrible answer.
I think you answered it.
Yeah, I think so.
What else you got, Barlow? Are we through? I think we're through the questions.
Yeah, I've gone through all mine here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are. I think I've got everything checked off here. Oh, there's one more. There's one more from the from a separate message that I got, which is we're probably way past the point that we should ask this, but your favorite go-to dish when you're in a hurry.
All right, two things. Before I answer that, number one, it says, at least on my computer, there's still 31 people watching. If that's true, holy shit. And I want to thank everybody for doing this. Go to. So here's the one thing I think I'm good at is finding random shit in the house to put together and make a meal out of. Like, if I could be on Cutthroat Kitchen or Chopped, I think I would do fairly well just because I can adapt well. Technique and plating is going to be complete garbage. Like, not going to win that category. But flavor-wise, like that that used to be something that I would enjoy doing, was going, through the refrigerator, freezer, pantry, and like, I can take this, and this, put it together, and it's going to be good. It's going to look pretty. No, it's going to look like a garbage plate like El made a couple weeks ago on his breakfast thing. It probably tasted amazing, but it's not something you sit there and go, ooh, that's like Instagram worthy. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the chat that I'm not sure what's going on. Apparently I'm down to 18 subscribers. I'm not sure what's going on.
Now we've got, I think the number I'm seeing is 17 watching right now. It's still like a lot of people still hanging out. We've been going for over 2 hours.
So this is one thing I want to ask you guys.
Go ahead.
Compare and I want you both to answer this individually. Compare being on the hot seat versus hosting the hot seat. Pros, cons, hardest part, easiest part, etc.
You go ahead first, Matt. You did the majority of the hosting, so I know I have an answer.
Go for it. I want to hear your answer, Mike.
I enjoy being on the hot seat as a guest. I mean, this is I didn't expect it to be so challenging to keep up with chat, and I had Matt here doing most of the stuff with you, so I have a renewed appreciation for what you do every Thursday, because when I'm in the chat and I'm just a viewer, I watch the chat go by and I'm listening to you, and I see that you rarely miss what's going on in the chat, and I don't know how you can follow that and keep up with your guest and still do as good a job as you do. So I would much rather be in your seat tonight.
Yeah, it's for me, it's been a lot of fun hosting and asking the questions. I think, I don't know, it's nice to be on the hot seat, but I don't know. Either way, it's been a lot of fun for me. I just wish I felt better and I could speak a little bit better. Yeah, it's been a rough one. Other than that, I've enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it's been fun, that's for sure. It's different, you're thinking about things that you're not normally thinking about when you're just a viewer. So it's pretty impressive amount of work and things you have to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just want to say real quick, I appreciate you guys doing this. I didn't think anybody would want to fucking see me on here, but is what it is. And everybody that's still watching, I see Booger, Meathead, Bomb, Tara, Scott, Christy, Scott. I already said Scott. CJ.
Cooking with CJ. CJ's here.
Cooking with a little spice. Jeff.
Yep. Kent, Meathead, Booger.
I'm not sure if Chris is still on. Chris is still on.
Yeah, he's still here. He said you guys rocked it. Thank you, man.
All right, so real quick, next week is going to be Lyle from No Hippie Barbecue, and the week after that is going to be the Mojos, and then the week after that, I'm not sure what we're going to do. This is weird because this is the second time I've been booked out a couple weeks, and it's kind of cool. And my perspective of the question I asked them is kind of nice being it's because I'm fucking OCD paying attention to the chat, but I didn't pay attention to the chat for most of it. And it was kind of cool. Like I could just like be in the moment type thing.
I agree. I think that's a good way to put it, you know.
Mike, who do you want to see on the hot seat?
I've been looking forward to seeing Lyle. You know, I talked to Lyle a lot privately, and he's a good dude. He's done a lot to help me out, and I'm looking forward to seeing him because he's got a lot of input for all of the younger, smaller channels like us. So even though he's already booked, I mean, I know I'm looking forward to that. And man, outside of that, I had somebody in mind the other day, but gosh, I can't think of.
I can't remember him now.
I can't think. So Kent just said Phil and Florence. That would probably be interesting.
Oh yeah, Phil and Florence would be awesome.
Yeah, I think Phil and Florence would be awesome, and I think Christy, she's always here. I'd like to see her.
Would love to see Christy.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Dan Smoky Goodness just made a comment. He's still here. Dan, hit me up.
Dan, I'd love to see Dan.
Hit me up on my MySpace page.
Hey, when's Meathead gonna do it? I know.
Meathead, definitely.
We talked about it, and then like things got like, so we got to do a special edition for Meathead. It's got to be, it's either a Friday or a Saturday. Like we had talked to, I don't know. It's hard for me to figure out like timeline wise because this goes by really quick for me. It was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were like kind of like lined out, and then like it didn't work out. So I don't know. Me and I hate saying Chris because there's like 42 fucking Chris's on this goddamn YouTube cooking thing, but we'll figure it out at some point. I know Jeff Baloney Ring Ranch, he sent me a message earlier today saying he had somebody lined up that was gonna do it. We're working on doing it or something. I don't know what he's got going on. He's gonna tell me tomorrow because I'm working on. Me and him are gonna figure out if he can get signal for his phone out there in Kentucky in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you can tell who it is or if we're waiting on something.
Oh, Mark would be a good one from Sauce Stash.
So Sauce Stash is probably going to be the same way that Meathead is. He does poker on Thursday nights, so if we can figure out when his poker game fails, I'd love to have Mark on. I like that guy. He's entertaining.
Yep. How about Cooking Bastard style?
I think I could probably get him on.
Yeah, dude, that'd be rad.
It would be a fun ride, is all I'm going to say.
Hell yeah. How about Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin? But I know he has to go to bed early on Thursday nights.
I'm not opposed to, doing something on a different day. I don't know what that presents. Like, I don't want to do a Thursday, Friday back to back.
Right.
Johnny, I see you. Johnny's still here. I'm not insulting you.
Johnny's still here.
All right, let's kill this thing. You two stay on for a minute. Wait, it's your show. You fucking end it.
Oh, no. All right. Well, I'll say goodnight. Thanks a lot, Chris, for asking us to do this. Mike?
Yeah, Chris, it was an honor. It was an honor to turn this around and hear some of your answers and just get to know you a little bit better. And I'm sure everybody else feels the same way. So I appreciate that I'm close enough in the circle with you guys that you allowed me to be a part of this. So I had a great time.
Yeah, dude. It was an honor.
All right, I'm hitting the button unless these other two guys have any last words.
Last words. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Love y'all, and have a wonderful rest of the evening.
Ditto.
All right, we're out. Love you guys. Thanks for showing up. See you next Thursday. Unless I put out something before then. Bye.